pretty harsh coming out. Corki, of course, is going to get picked. Corki left open this time around. RNG surprisingly changing their bans from last time around, deciding to take away the Caitlyn once again instead of the Corki. It's because Anyone's Legend also changed their ban. So Anyone's Legend have banned Corki on blue side both times around. This time around, they take away the Karma pick. So Corki going out. RNG have defaulted to the Aphelios time and time again. This is the Gala special. Not necessarily the Aphelios, but every split, Gala finds one champion that he really likes, and then he picks it 90% of games until teams start banning it away. And it's not that Gala can't play other champions. He will play them, and he will play them well when the time comes. But yeah, it brings me back to the days where RNG just picked Kai'Sa, and RNG just won. So we're going to look at that, and we get a Vex pick this time around. So this is something we hit on earlier. One of the other ways of trying to attack Corki is picking something more aggressive that can look to roam, especially once you hit that level 6 and have the Shadow Surge available. Hopefully, Xiaohu is much better hitting that skill shot than Rookie was, because I don't know why I keep bringing that up. It was bad. And Xiaohao now on the Zhao.
Yeah, look, some Vexes, a lot of Vexes actually have struggled in the LPL. On Gala's point, that's real Jackie Love vibes, by the way. Sticking to a champion and just pulling it out time and time again. Jackie Love was also like that with Kai'Sa. He had a time where with Yu-Yang, Ezreal, that's right, just kept coming out time and time again. It's those great AD carries that just know the faith of this AD carry, the faith of this pick is going to do them well. And Gala's done pretty well despite missing a couple of ultis. On the other side, the Jinx is there. That's standard stuff on Anyone's Legend. I see Viego. I also see a Vex. I see Shadow Isles. And a lot of things to talk about with mid 2v2 lyric.
So, who cares about mid 2v2? Because if I remember the lore correctly, I think Vex was in love with Viego, if I'm not wrong. You know, hey, Viego was like one of like the coolest lores in League of Legends, with how the Shadow Isles came to be and how he used to be this king of this kingdom, and he lost his wife and he spent his whole life trying to revive her. And that is the important part of this matchup. But I want to bring us back to the opposite side, because I don't know how many Anyone's Legend fans we have in the Western world, but they are getting the same picks as they had in Game 1. The Corki, the Zhao, the Jinx, the three most picked champions in each of those roles. If they get Gwen and Leona, they round out a similar, actually the exact similar composition than Game 1. For RNG, though, they are much more heavily indexed into skirmishing this time around, which is quite nice, right? Both Vex and Viego wanting to find access, both having those resets to be able to chain in team fights. So I do think RNG have an incredibly strong skirmishing setup so far. They're going to want to round that one out with some more engage as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised to once again see things like the Nautilus come out on the 4th rotation and set up for some of these big team fights.
But I'm interested in RNG getting banned, or rather Anyone's Legend banning away the Jax. It's something Bin's played 2 games in a row. Same bans out of RNG with the Gragas, the Gwen. So Bin's not going to have that to default on once again. If you want to see engage, Lyric, you already talked about the Nautilus there. I think things like the Leona also available, but who needs Sun when you've got a bit of doom and gloom on your team? So Nautilus as well, a very chunky man. Be a man? Looks like Big Daddy out of Bioshock. That's all I know.
Well, Anyone's Legend are going to pick up the Leona, but Hysterics, more importantly than Big Daddy from Bioshock, Anyone's Legend can't repeat the comp they had last time with the Gwen ban. Graves and Camille are the 2 things that jump to my mind when you take away the Jax pick. So maybe something along those lines. And no, they're actually going to pivot. I like this a lot. Taking Braum into champions that are going to be running and are going to be jumping forward. Like the Viego, like the Vex, that passive going to set up so nicely. And then this was one of ZDZ's go-tos in previous years, just picking the Jace, having more champions that are indexed into being able to proc that Braum passive in team fights, being able to hit from a range. Graves would fill the same niche as the first one, right? Double marksman with Braum is a traditional composition that goes all the way back to when Braum first came out. So Anyone's Legend team fighting, very solid once again. This composition gets in front of Drake's. It is terrifying. Now for RNG, we're going to be rounding out what we can go in the top side. I feel like Jax, other than Jax, the most successful picks we've seen into Graves in the meta have been things like tanks. We have seen, things like the Ornn come out. That's not what Bin is going to go for. Bin hovering these 2 picks right now. I mean, heck, you're already indexed into all-in. I think the Camille fits that a lot heavier than the Jace does, right? Instead of just standing back and throwing out those accelerated shock blasts. So continuing that trend, what we want to see now, right, is Hextech Ultimatum on a Jinx, flash forward into the ultimate from the Nautilus, Xiaohu landing the Shadow Surge, finding a way in. So you're going to have a lot of all-in threat coming out from the members of RNG. The good thing from Anyone's Legend is you do have the disengage coming out from the Braum.
Yep.
We already saw in Game 1, once Betty gets the Gale Force as well, he'll have his own repositioning tools. Corki already has those built in, so it will be a battle of execution.
Okay, so the classic cop-out, but I'm going to take away what you said before. There's disengage for Anyone's Legend, because with Corki, Jinx, even the Graves, Lyric, we have that same comp that can...
Probably don't let Anyone's Legends composition get to places first and kite you out.
Because at this point, for Anyone's Legends, they start the invade. Make sure they're in a controlled position. On top of Gala, Jojo has the flash available, but he's not going to burn it for now. RNG hovering around. They're just going to let Anyone's Legend hover into the bot side. It'll be a blue start. We might even vertical jungle. And for RNG, Lyric, I don't know if I mind this. I mean, Xiaohao on, Wei on Bin's side of the map would be a big turn for RNG, but it seems like he's backing for now.
I don't know if Wei has comfort being on Bin's side of the map from what we've seen from RNG so far. Has not spent a lot of time up there at all. And by at all, I mean almost none. We already highlighted Bin's less than 40% kill participation earlier in the day. Even in terms of jungle proximity, I remember looking at the stat, and it was towards the bottom of top lane, which is expected. Heck, Bin knows the feeling well, though. He was already there last year in the LPL with SOFM, giving him very little attention. But going back to what we saw on the map, right? Wards coming out for both sides. For RNG, they do know this invade's happening because they do have wards on enemy side. They also are just standing right in front of them right now, so are going to lose out on blue buff. ZDZ trying to spot out top side if Wei did go for that. Wei didn't. He can try and make his way there now, especially the fact that Bin will get control of top first, since ZDZ didn't start in the lane.
So an interesting start. Flash forward. Wow, that's so worth. Gala burns his own, and Chocho. Guys, you know what to spam. It ends in chat.
Chocho just coming in massively. So many LPL supports right now are just playing so aggressive. It's great to see the level of confidence coming in from, I'd say, so many supports that were very hit or miss before. They would have, like Chocho would have these moments where he would do this, would also have a pretty unspectacular moments. I don't know what word I'm trying to say, Hysterics.
Right.
This day's already been very long. Wei, though, is going to be walking into Chocho and Xiaohao.
Well, this early jungle for Wei is going to get a little bit difficult. Betty moves in as well. In the bottom lane of RNG, stay in the lane, accept the wave, and it's just going to be the smite down. Actually, Xiaohao doesn't have it, so a little bit help from Betty's appreciated. Means that Xin Zhao gets right into it. Look on the other side. Wei's on this bottom red. In fact, goes away from the red into the crux. So as Xiaohao moves on down, Wei's going to be in position, but I feel like against the Xin Zhao, level 2 is going to be a big deal.
Also, the fact that this is their side of the map, so Betty and Chocho can much faster rotate over here. But Ming trying to stop that from happening.
Remember, the Gala has no flash. Chocho as well. Ming taking half his HP. Chocho the same, but as Ming gets burnt down a little bit, Betty activates Lethal Tempo. It's only PTA from Gala. And Wei has to back away as well. The rest of Krugs given over, however small, to Xiaohao. And Jungle v Jungle is a very intrinsic matchup in this early game.
Yeah, and for context there, even that bot lane engage coming up from Ming was all because of jungle, right? He's throwing the hook onto Chocho to make sure that they aren't able to follow up and help out Xiaohao. Looks like Wei would have been able to get away regardless. They just run away, didn't try and contest the Krugs any further. So ultimately, everything does end out where we started.
Okay.
And for once, we don't have a big focus on mid lane, where, sure, maybe the mid matchup hasn't been the big standout point, but the standout point has been Xiaohu having just complete control so far of every game. This time around is a lot more even. Maple able to hold his own. We do know for Xiaohu, though, it is going to be much more about that level 6 point.
Yep.
Still very far away from Rift Herald, though, so no, like, obvious objectives to fight over. Bin not level 6 yet either, nor his way. So I think for RNG, your comp still does have a little bit before you are looking for any of these ganks. Xiaohao on the Xin Zhao, though, will have some opportunities available. I'm not sure. It looks like on the minimap that Bin's wave is heading into ZDZ. Maybe that sets up a potential gank topside. But his camps are responding towards the bottom lane, which, hell, there's no flash on Gala.
I mean, importantly as well, just talking about junglers, dude, the level difference is going to start coming through as well. Xiaohao clearing out his camp. Wei is at 18 CS. That'll change very shortly, but the junglers are only just hitting level 4. It's been a slow start with a lot of pivoting through the map. and a lot of map movement as well from these supports expected to come through. Lyric, I want to bring our attention to the Dragon as well, especially since RNG is starting to get close towards that level 6 point for Bin, for Xiaohu especially, and this first objective is important for setup.
And yeah, we're going to need to see them lean heavily towards this bottom lane. I think if Wei just tries to look for lane ganks to come through the lane, if Xiaohao is matching him, I do favor anyone's Legend setup. Braum in these early game skirmishes, heck, to start the game, right? Braum in multi-man skirmishes is so impactful with his passive, with the shield able to block any damage coming out from Gala as well. So for RNG, I think it is look mid first, lean with Xiaohu down, and then walk down as a 4-man unit, and hopefully have that numbers advantage there. For Xiaohao's going to do the opposite. You're going to be looking to join the fight from bot lane and then work your way up the river.
Xiaohu low on mana though, so have to keep an eye on that one. Burning and Corrupting Potion does have a biscuit as well, so he'll eat the cookie and should be able to replenish quite a lot. Maple's also hit level 6 guys as he's now picked up the Missile Barrage. Xiaohu you saw there on your screen too, so both junglers hovering around here. Xiaohao in the lane, setting himself up, and it's sad because I wanted to talk about Bin's Camille, but I might not even have time. Ming for the dredge line, not yet. Wei actually looking for the dive. This will be a dive, in fact, as well. Personal space is there. The Shadow Surge as well. Is it a solo kill? Yes, it is. Xiaohu burns him down in the turret, says, get out of here. First blood to the Vex.
Really nice solo kill coming out from Xiaohu. Hits the skill shots, walks forward with the personal space, the shield to try and get the damage, and bam, follows in with the Shadow Surge. Can't wait to get a replay of that one, but that's buying the space that RNG need. One of the reasons we hit on that, RNG would probably be playing around their mid lane matchup in this game.
Hello.
As Engage comes out bot.
Well, Ming takes one more for the concussive blows. That'll be it for Betty. Changes targets, chompers down. Gala stepping right on it with the Infernum Crescendum, though. He has a lot of damage, being that close to it. Ignite doesn't tick over Chocho. He's in the river, and he survives. And now for Betty, he got excited a long time ago. Ming with the flash away, dredge line gets him out, but Xiaohao on the retrieval path. Flash, wind does not become lightning, not even a little thunderstorm. But at least for Ming getting out, anyone's Legend means they have full push of the turret.
It was so close. Nice play coming out from Betty and Chocho. Chocho just looking nice and tasty, baiting Gala and Ming in. Gala will lose a few CS, so even over the kill, going to be getting a bit more out from that one. We can see right now on our screens blue buff steal coming to fruition as well. We're going to go to one of our replays. My guess is it is the mid lane one, as we see on our screens. Maple missing skill shot. Xiaohu walking forward does get the fear from his E instantly into the Q, and then bam, walks back. We saw the personal space usage as well, which I felt like was so
nice.
Cool and critical, right? Xiaohu knowing his limits. We go into the bot lane skirmish. Anyone's Legend trying to bait out this fight. The Chompers locking down Gala, feel like they do so much to keep him in place. And then at this point, as RNG's bot lane, you're committed. You're stuck in this fight. Gala sticks around, tries to get the damage down on Chocho to at least find something back, but he isn't able to do so. But again, I just want to go back to the Xiaohu point. I think really cool to see. Walks forward aggressively in front of minions, zoning Maple off. Maple doesn't respect, lands the fear, instantly pops the shield, gets the damage from that as well, and then just being able to follow through with the Ignite.
And we go back and get the Sork shoes ready for this Herald fight because it seems like it is going to be a fight. Maple backing away for the package. Is teleport not up and available though, Lyric? But he should be able to surge his way out here. And speaking of surge, I'm looking at Xiaohu as the Herald goes down. And anyone's Legend still want to fight this, but it's a Camille. Hookshot, wall shot goes back on in. But if anyone's Legend, they're outnumbered here until Corki gets there. Wei is running away, and Ming actually tagged away by the concussive blows. The flash fork from ZDC knocked on up the package over the top, and now they're ready for Wei. A good little fear on the way out. Collateral damage doesn't kill him, nor does the big one. Anyone's Legend trading a kill, but it was long-winded.
Oh, Betty! That was so sick!
The camera looks away for a second. Not even the spectator expected that. And Wei is... I'd be going, holy crap. Yeah, the flag deserves to be up.
Yes.
That was slick.
I gotta say, we've seen a lot of great snipes in the LPL so far. We're only what? I guess almost at the end of our second week, but man, do our players know to make use of Jinx and predict, right? Predict where players are going to be walking or where they're going to be backing in Fog of War. So that was great coming from Betty. We're going to go straight to the replay here. I mean, I don't think there's too much to tell here, right? RNG, they did have tempo that committed first to the Herald, but still, by the time Maple's able to get his package, you are just guaranteed to lose one member with that massive ability coming through. And here's what we really want to see, just great prediction coming out from Betty. And this, again, on this AL lineup, definitely feels like this is the best Betty has played in a solid few years.
Anyone's Legend is so much fun to watch in general. As we're going to get a turret dive here. Hextech Ultimatum comes through, resets the aggro. Wade will get the reset, but Bin still absorbing damage. With the Corki here as well, Maple tries to defend, but he's too little, too late. RNG with yet another kill. And Lyric, I don't think it's going to end here. Xiaohu has the Shadow Surge. All he needs is a snipe with the Ignite. He's hit Maple, and there's no personal space. Where Maple's going for another kill again on Bin. Lyric RNG is set up.
And this is what gives you flashbacks to 2021 RNG. These multi-man topside tower dives coming through. Great to see Wayne and Bin knowing their limits as well. Sure, they have to flash out because TP does come in for Maple, but realizing they could roam Xiaohu up as well to finish off the kill.
They're looking at it. The observers are like, dude, are you going to do it again? Betty holding on to the rocket.
Betty's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
He's 1 for 1. He's going to hold the record. The observers were expecting it, though, Lyric, and you got to give them credit because Betty pulled that amazing rocket off before, so our eyes were on him.
So here's the secret, right? If the observers are showing him, look at his face cam as well. If he's not saying anything, he's not going for that snipe. He'd be getting hypey. He'd be talking to his team like, yo, watch, I'm going to get this. Wasn't doing it. So Betty not wanting to kill the Tiger King of Spring. And now we're going to be looking at, what our map state is right now. No Dragon, no Herald. Both teams just kind of chilling out. We know the ball is not really in anyone's Legends court. For them, their aggression's happening on bot side. And RNG once again gonna be targeting this top lane because it is where all their vision is. They also have Rift Herald up and a turret that has lost a couple turret plates.
Opening up the Camille as well, Lyric. I think it's a really big deal, and we didn't get a chance to talk about Bin with all the jungle shenanigans happening with the vertical map down in the bottom lane. Herald as it charges through here, and his EDC gets a quick stun up. Gold only goes to Wade. That's unfortunate. Bin wasn't close enough. I wanted to ask you more about that map state and what changes with a 2-0 Camille starting this game with the Vex as well that wanted to skirmish. RNG's comp, they're elevating a bit here. They're speeding things up at the 12-minute mark, and I need you to let me know how RNG pushed this tempo to the limit.
So we can already see on our screen, right? It's just going to be a continuous push and move towards the top side because Bin is able to set up and stack these waves to be able to look for dives. This one is just one wave right now. 3v2, I don't think RNG can go for this. They should just opt into backing off. But go back to mid, push the wave out once again. Look to rinse and repeat, right? Heck, you can even clear your camps like from bot to top side with how they are spawned right now. For the side of anyone's Legends, since their bot lane has been able to come out ahead, and since Braum is such a neutralizer in terms of early ganks towards him or any skirmishes, anyone's Legend can keep just to all in on that one, and then you get this different dichotomy, right? For anyone's Legend, you're all in on bot side, so it's going to be more about team fights because your AD carry is getting strong. For RNG, you're all in towards that top half of the map. It's going to be playing out through those side lanes, moving first, finding picks with the Camille, and yeah, actually having to play around Bin. It'll be different.
It's amazing because, again, what you've been talking to me about since RNG's come in and since you Dagda, Orcs have been analyzing this team, it's not the Bin show. Bin's left on an island and he gets attention in this game. He's a 2-0 Camille with Divine Sundra. Wei has the same item here. And it feels like, we're going to be talking a lot about him here in this game. And you talk about pushing out the waves, playing towards the dive or adding pressure in. I'll be curious as to how that goes, whether RNG look to contest the Dragon. They didn't pick up the first one. And anyone's Legend starting to pick up some core items here as well as they move down towards the bottom of the map.
Wayne, kind of interested right now, and anyone's Legend just hovering around mid, making sure nothing can happen. But Dragon, like you said, Dragon coming up in 40 seconds. We'll be interested to see if RNG do decide to contest. They will have TP advantage, which I think is pretty massive, especially now that we are hitting the 14-minute mark. So Bin will be able to find an impact. So for RNG, I think it would be pretty cool to see them contest that one. With how low top lane turret is, though, they're going to hover towards the side first, maybe start making their way down towards that one afterward, or we could even just all outright opt into a full Herald trade and then use that into just breaking down more turrets, making a longer lane for Bin, and having to find kills through that way.
Sorry, Blood. Hextech automated super deep. The Shadow Surge doesn't connect, and that means Bin doesn't have backup, but he's done enough damage. Personal space, please! Get away from me! Xiaohu, that's another turret shot, sir. You're going to regret that. He goes down in a very hilarious way.
You know, I don't care that he went down. The fact that he misses, he's like, I don't care. We're killing this guy. Presses W, flashes in, finds the kill. Brings me back to their first match as well, when they played against FPX, and he was on, I think it was the Zoe that game. He's going to gank bot and just flashes over the wall. Xiaohu is gonna make the plays he wants to make, no matter the price. We're already getting the trade coming out. RNG getting to go for the Herald, where Xiaohao did pick up the second Drake, so anyone's legend just continue to index into that late game win condition, as we see Bin trying to go for it, but he isn't able to land. Sadly, Shadow Surge does miss as well. We're going to see BAM! W right into the Q as well, being able to finish off that damage. Sadly, RNG, the wave didn't come in fast enough, is still a bit away. Maple is packaged, and he goes down.
A nice little kill there, a retribution for Maple, but still RNG hold the gold lead in this game, if only by a little, guys. Excuse me, I can't see. Is that a 6? Yeah, it is a 6, so I was right the whole time. When you're at low pixels, anything's possible. It is about 1,000 gold lead for RNG, but that's going to quickly change. Anyone's legend pick up the top lane turret, and Lyric, you did say it was a war of attrition. It was a different perspective as well, where a lot of gold is Bin in Xiaohu and Wade. For RNG, they're going to have to deal with Betty, who's just not only picked up the bottom lane turret solo, now he's picked up the top lane turret as well. He'll have 2 items. Bin will be a little bit behind that curve right now as he shared goal with RNG's jungler.
Still, Bin is going to be the win condition, right? I just want to like hammer home that point that for RNG, you're completely looking at this top laner, what he can do inside, how he's going to move to impact the map, or knowing Bin if he's going to move at all, or at least if RNG can capitalize on the fact that the Camille will be putting up pressure by doing what they did last year, playing that tug of war, playing that push and pull of pulling the members of anyone's legend across the map to react to waves, to react to Baron baits or Vision getting set up topside, and then allowing Bin to put pressure on that turret, but also forcing out the TPs from ZDZ and Maple.
I think on Bin's pick of Camille, you have a lot of faith in RNG right now. Away from the TP point, because we can talk about that in a little bit towards objectives, Lyric. I want to hammer home on another point about Bin. We got a lot of hammers here today, guys. And Bin's Camille is legendary. It's what I think about when I think about the X-Sooning top laner and how he can class on people, can win the game in 15 minutes or lose it simultaneously, but more often than not win. And Lyric, the final
name
part
was
of
Love Camille on KR server.
It was, for a reason, right? I watched All-Stars with this guy on Camille, and he took that tournament seriously. Some of you may have watched the stream, and you remember Bin on Camille and the 1v1s, and it was literally like, it was like Messi versus a 12-year-old soccer team in that tournament. And the kids are like, Dad, why is there a professional here? Why is it Mark Viduka or, Tim Cahill? Why is he at our tournament? Bin was walking over people, and it was crazy to see, but really entertaining to watch the skill of this guy. So I'm glad that RNG put him in a position of power, and this time giving him a bit of attention. Again, Betty versus Bin. Lyric mentioned the TPs before. We'll be talking about that a little bit closer towards the Dragon, because Lyric, Baron, Dragon coming up at the same time, but crucially, anyone's legend have 2 dragons already in the back pocket. We saw in game number 1, the dragon stacking really ruined RNG. They did have a comp that couldn't play towards the team fight though, so different circumstances, but still worth mentioning.
And for RNG, right, they will still have windows available. Ooh, Moonlight Vigil comes out.
Hello.
Stopping their recalls, but you really won't be able to pivot this into too much, right? No Dragon up just yet, no Baron up as well. This would be a window where you can be like, hey, you can turn this into vision control on the side of the map where you want your objective. Not going to happen. Dragon will come up, though, so it looks like RNG will start pivoting their ward line from the top half of the map down towards the bottom side. They will still keep Bin on this side of the map, so it tells me they do want to contest in terms of a soul point fight, in terms of anyone's legends.
Yep.
And try to play out through that bot side where maybe you're having, 3 or 4 members fighting from mid, fighting from river, and then having Bin come off on that flank and threaten, having Xiaohu come from another angle, then it's going to be NAL's court of like, hey, we're being threatened from 3 sides. Which side do we all into? How do we find this right angle?
I want to ask if Maple has package. That's a really big question for me because we saw it over the first Herald. And we've seen, I believe, 1 since then as well. So looking for the play as Dragon comes up in 30 seconds. Package usage is always a big talking topic. with Corki in the meta these days. I understand I tilted some people by saying soccer instead of football. Unfortunately, in Australia, I grew up saying soccer, and you're going to have to deal with it. I do believe it's football's the right name for it, though. That away. Politics of soccer away. Anyone's legend are walking into this, and the Braum doing a good job of keeping space. Remember, the poke coming through, and Maple does have the package lyrics, so I get my wish, as Xiaohu still holds on to the ulti.
Yeah, but ooh, the poke coming down from AL though. There's a lot. Looks like AL though gonna look for a rotation on mid. Maybe trade this dragon for a mid lane turret. They realize, hey, we're already 2 drakes up. We don't need to put ourselves in any uncomfortable position. They do still have the package if RNG looks for the engage.
And they're in the choke here. Maple sees them as well. This would be an opportunity as anyone legend gets spot out by a scrying ward. Big poke from Maple. But RNG aren't giving them an inch, and this package won't be used to good fruition. RNG going to defend their mid turret. Anyone's legend back away. And at least he'll pick up the objective.
Still bot.
You can't get too tilted. And yeah, Bin is just going to be hammering away at this tier 2, so anyone's legend have to back or get away from the rest of RNG.
You are right, sir. You have tons of hammers today. But yeah, Bin tried to get some damage down on the turret. Wasn't able to do so, as we saw. Just like how Hysterics rant about calling football soccer didn't matter, that skirmish didn't matter because there was no skirmish in the end.
You gotta remember, there's a lot of people that get tilted. They love that sport. Me calling it soccer,
I call football football.
It's like breaking their birthday cake. You know, dropping it on their head.
Wait, do you guys actually call football soccer in Australia?
I think some people do. I don't know. You know, I played it for 15 years, and I always called it soccer.
How do you not know?
Well,
okay, then I trust
no,
you.
I don't know because
it's probably called soccer.
Because people called it different things, and I think they want it to be English. But honestly, Australians don't know who they are half the time. Let's be honest. You know, we're upside down. Like literally, it's just hard. You know, getting up in the morning as RNG.
Fight is there.
But a good crescent guard from Xiaohao. Now that he's ulted down though with the TP, Ming goes in with the flash engage. Xiaohu as well with the Moonlight Vigil, already pounced back, ways in the back line. Ambitious as he buys time, goes golden, and Xiaohu starts popping out damage himself, but Maple kites back. They've built the space that we talked about in pick and pans, but Bin gets into the nitty-gritty. Bin versus Betty. Who's the winner? Well, it's RNG, of course, who went all in on smacking down the Jinx. Gala with a big surprise over the wall. Royal never give up. With the scissor leg lady, they're unstoppable.
And for RNG, it might be messy. It might not be the clean 2-0 that you would look at the series and expect, but picking up the fight win, turning it into a Baron. RNG are going to be able to take this momentum forward, be able to start threatening those next breaks, and especially for Bin, having that Baron buff in those sides threatened turrets will be huge.
That was what I wanted to see from Bin. Lyric, call me your father, and let's look at this once again because you are such a good mentor. Actually, no, I'm your son. I'll call you father as you walk me through this.
Okay, well, we saw Xiaohao walk into Xiaohu's Vex, gets speared immediately. ZDZ left by his own. Betty, not even here at the start of the fight, so no DPS coming out on the side of anyone's legend. And now for anyone's legend, you see this fight, you are the ones being funneled through the choke point. Gala was the one allowed to pretty much hit freely. And that's the big difference, right? You were setting up this fight as, okay, we're looking at Betty, we're looking at Betty, we're looking at Betty. Well, Betty wasn't even a part of it. When your player, who was the one getting ahead in laning phase, was here for the side of AL, what are you doing? Especially when you factor in the other big team fight win for them would be up the back of the package, which they don't have. So blindly walking into RNG's jungle, getting caught out by both Xiaohu and Wei, and turning that into a winning skirmish.
I mean, I've loved watching these little skirmishes come through. And for RNG, look at the dominance starting to build up in gold. 3K here with the Baron, 1.5K play, and Bin working away at the side lane. Lyric, I wanted you to call me that because you've been giving me the information for RNG in this game about how they want to play it. You know, you talk about Bin with the focus, watching him in that last fight on top of Betty. It really did come down to the two players, but RNG with more members. And now I'm starting to believe that RNG may take this away, but again, it's anyone's legend. Also known as Absolute Legend. And what we've seen so far in this series...
Also known as Al.
Al, that's right. And you can call me Al. But the main thing is that we've seen Corki, Jinx, even Graves get to the mid to late game point where they still take over. And the gold lead is not big enough at this point, so RNG are not out the woods, especially with two dragons by their side. And most possibly a 3-item Jinx that Betty's going to back on now and pick up LVR. So I think there's a lot of good things to still talk about with Al. RNG still have that Camille, who's now picked up his third too, and Azonya's on Vex. So a lot of questions I want answered as we approach 20 seconds till the drag. Oh, Dredge line. Okay,
Ooh,
I don't need to talk.
engage.
Or maybe I do need to talk. Actually, it's not the Jojo. He's blocked a lot of damage, but Ming is going to be traded off. Bin once again picks up a kill as Vex is in the thick of it as well. But the package! It's so well eyed. Way does it go down though? He burns on the interim, but anyone's let have reset. It's Xiaohu!
Xiaohu!
The doom is gloom! Vex, Xiaohu! Say his name, say the champion. He's made them absolutely sad.
Xiaohu is just such an absolute monster. Waits for the perfect timing, finds the old angle, gets in there, lands the damage and the fear. This guy's one of the GOATs of the LPL, and why RNG are at least postured to be able to take this game with the fact that they're in a 5K gold lead. They're sitting on 2 Infernal Drakes at this point, and man, Xiaohu just is not missing.
But he's not a carry mid laner. Quote, some of the community. You guys know who you are. Xiaohu has brought the top lane power and the split he had, the year he had. A lot of these great fights in the game.
Yeah, we see the engage come out from him. RNG able to continue on forward. Like you said, nice package coming out from Maple to set things up. But on the back end of the fight, Bin locking some members down, at least buys time for Xiaohu to land that, right? Ultimate straight in, once again, popping the personal space into the queue. Damage. That's all there is, and Xiaohu picking up all the kills.
6-1 and 6. Suddenly it's not just about Bin anymore. Xiaohu was lurking there in surprise. And, you know, it's not a love story between Wei and Xiaohu in this game. It's a love story between Bin and Xiaohu. I don't know where that lore came from, Lyric, but I'm changing it. Camille's a really nice person. And coming into this game, Lyric, you know, we talked a lot about Xiaohu versus Maple. Now it's going to be a bit one-sided as we see that because of that fight, because of Xiaohu's triple kill, Gold has soared to 6,000 in the lead. With Baron coming up at a minute 40 with Wei just walking in and stealing that one. RNG remain firmly in control moving into this late game.
And just right, with 3 items on both AD carries, but like you're highlighting, the big difference being Maple being a whole item under what Xiaohu has. So Xiaohu now Shadow Flame and these Zhonya's coming out, gonna have, you know, a ton more of that flat magic pen onto the relatively squishy team of AL. And for Maple, he's looking to jump on carries anyway, right? You aren't looking to hit frontline as Vex. And Bin might win this 1v1 against ZDZ. He's huge.
Well, wait for the hookshot, wall shot. He's level 16 versus 15 Graves. There's a bit of healing reduction that Bin has to get through. But apart from that, Bin still remains an item up. The push continues here. Mid is crashing it as well. Look at the wave management here, Lyric and RNG killing wards, waiting for the next wave to push.
Yeah, RNG just gonna keep the siege up. I want to highlight now, going back to AD carries real quick. But at this point in time, I think Gala is even stronger than Betty as well.
Okay.
In terms of where we're at with items, right? Because you do have the 3 crit items on Gala with IE. So gonna have that massive IE spike, or Betty realizing, hey, our comp can't be in range of them, right? We're indexed into these poke battles, into these long range battles where we need to tether them on the edge of our range. Did go for the rapid fire cannon. So in terms of DPS, Gala will have more. Betty, though, is building towards his win condition. So yeah, the point is, Gala's strong. Fear Gala.
Oh, it's a trap! It's a trap! RNG have been waiting for anyone's legend to seal the deal. Wei picks up the kill. It's a reset again from Xiaohu. The Shadow Surge hits for the 3rd time. Look at this man, number 4. It won't be a penta, but Xiaohu is dashing every way. Maple the only remnant. Wei flashes in the face of anyone's legend because they know it's all over Red Rover.
And it's all on Xiaohu. 8-1 and 8, highest kill participation on the team right now.
16.
He found so many of the crucial angles able to come in. And like you said, RNG
package. Let's try here, the last resort for Maple, but there's no hope. RNG started off shaky, but this game cemented the fact this team, when it comes together, is so damn strong. It was about Bin for the first time in RNG, the first time in 2022, as they pick up yet another win against anyone's legend.
And if our technical director Xiaohao is listening, we were right. No way this series was not going to go to 3 games. Nice to see RNG going to game 1. They maybe test some things out. They're like, hey, we're going to bring out the trigger here with Corki. We think that works. That's cool. We're also going to get, I believe it's Jax in game 1 as well on the top side. And they also had a very heavy all-in jungle. And they played against Poke, right? They had Diana, Tryndamere, Jax, and they were playing against the 5 most played champions in LPL. They lost. Game 2, they come in. It's a little bit back and forth, but ultimately,